Hey guys, it's ViewMasters Reaction, and like I thought, somebody already has a video out that compares the campaign to the actual show, the episode of Vox Machina on Amazon Prime. The first one I saw, I almost missed the video because all it said was Scanbo, and I thought, oh, that's the name of the episode. But in the image of the thumbnail was a picture of Sam Riegel with a tie around his head or something. I don't know. I didn't really look at the image too long because I didn't want it to spoil anything. I know the title of episode 7 was Scanbo, but what exactly was the Scanbo? Is it him drinking the potions? Like, I don't know what part of the episode is what is going to be the Scanbo that we talk about. I mean, the whole episode could have been related. I have to assume it has something to do with his potions and the fact that he turned into a triceratops. He sang another little song. He did cock lightning. He fought the Duke. I mean, there is a lot of things that happen in the Scanbo episode. It was a very Scanlan-centric episode to the point where I thought he might actually temporarily get sidelined or hurt or possibly dead, if that is possible. People in the comments of the videos in the Scanbo episode, because I said this many times, said that you can die, but it's likely you wouldn't, but you could lose limbs and get brutally hurt. And yes, you could die, but likely you wouldn't, or something like that, just because it would kind of be bad for the game, I guess. I loved how Scanlan was fighting the sword with the hand, but eventually the hand did get chopped off. The middle finger got chopped off, but then the hand was intact again, and he rode it up into the sky and departed from the building, burning to the ground, and the Duke, we find out later, survived. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen past Scanbo, but if you're watching these, you probably have. If you're seeing the comparisons like I am and stuff, I'm assuming you didn't stop watching at episode 7, and then were like, thanks a lot, ViewMasters, you ruined my day. But if I did, I apologize. Either way, he rides the hand off. We see in future episodes that the hands are both intact, because I started thinking, is one of the hands missing a middle finger? Like, maybe I just saw the other hand and one of them's going to be missing a middle finger. It got chopped off, but nope. Nothing, no problem. Let's jump into this. We'll see what is actually spoken of, and then we'll talk after. This is by a new person, guys. I did check out the other people that did get campaign comparison videos out, and neither of them have anything out yet. But this I found by complete accident, and the person who posted this, I kid you not, is named Arsh Queef. A-R-S-E Queef. That is his name. If you want, go look it up. I'll post the original video in the description, but let's just jump in. You guys want to see more of what I do, full unedited reactions, all the shows on the channel, seasons ahead of what you're seeing, and hundreds of exclusives you only see on Patreon. The link's at the end. If not, here we go. This is Scanbo, the comparison to episode 7 as compared to campaign 1.
Duke Vedmeyer was the one that
there is no
now as the rain pours
description,
down,
so we're just winging it.
Open from a polymorph spell as a fly to the top of the front doorstep of Vedmeyer's home, then proceeding to unpolymorph and then repolymorph himself into a triceratops.
So Scanlan turned up. There we go.
Turned into a triceratops.
Why is he dressed as what looks like Turd Ferguson?
I did not have a triceratops, but I did have a stegosaurus. The same size, so
we're going to use a stegosaurus to mark him on the map, but he's a triceratops.
Of Duke Vedmeyer's estate. Pieces of wood blasting outward, scattering.
So he's wrecking the shit out of Duke's estate, which happened. But he was a fly. We didn't see him as a fly. We saw him as a tiny person.
Oh shit.
All the archers are lined up. That was when Grog ran in.
Is currently filled with guards, all seemingly prepared and almost expecting.
He attacked a lot of guards, but the ones that were on top were when Grog opened the door.
You also see at the top Duke Vedmeyer himself, a large, hairless, gray-skinned Goliath wielding a giant two-handed sword, armored with a breastplate.
Yeah, so here's the thing.
Gray-skinned Goliath.
I should probably leave.
Yeah, come on.
Yes. But come on, I'm a triceratops. I gotta have some fun first.
I would say yes, right? I would agree.
Turn right and blast.
You turn into a giant dinosaur and you don't screw some people up?
You running and you slam your head through the horns, protruding and tearing through the wood. The doors break inward, but the doors don't fully blast inward.
It almost looked like he had a thicker skin or armor, too, in the episode.
Too much more power to blast through.
Doors bloody in this kingdom.
It's now your worst nemesis.
Fire!
a bunch of crossbow bolts get loose.
I don't know if
through middle
the
wall.
person edited it. I'm assuming whoever put this up edited it. Arshqueef. Arsqueef.
Some retribution.
Totally. Turn around and give it to him.
As you blast through, it's a dining room with a central dining room table, two small tables at the far corners. There's a 10-foot window across the way. It appears to be a normal dining room set.
I don't have any fire. I don't know why I was sent into this mission. I don't do fire things.
How did this plan
But he did have fire.
It's a great
We're a
plan.
bunch of
Why didn't you
slapdicks.
say
That's
I
why.
don't
Was that
have fire?
convenient, or does he get a really good roll? Because he breathes fire, which is awfully convenient.
I can take care of myself. How many times do I have to tell you guys?
I'm pretty sure everyone in the
Echoing
episode
voice in the chair
asked to
back in your
go.
mind As you imagine, this is what Keyleth would be saying right now.
Peek around the corner a little bit. Just make sure they're all there.
Yeah.
And I will stinking cloud all of them.
Stinking cloud?
All right.
Is that a thing he does? I don't remember a stinking cloud.
Run first. How often am I going to take on a whole
I like
house
it.
by myself?
All of a sudden, the entire foyer just fills up with this greenish, noxious cloud.
I don't think we did that in the show.
gas. Immediately, just kind of like cover their mouths and pull up these little bit of material they have around their chest plate armor to cover their mouth. The rest of them start
Unless that was done
up. One of
very
them
quickly
falling over
in
to the ground,
silent, I didn't see that.
straying through its
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I will duck under the table.
Okay.
So they think that's where I went.
Okay.
And then dimension door to the roof.
Okay.
Ah, so we never breathed fire yet? Because he had already breathed fire by the time he got to the roof.
Coming into Whitestone.
And then I start digging through my pockets if I have any flint or fire making.
Oh, and this went out. He must have had a bad roll, because he found something and it went out with the rain or something.
Okay, you pull up
But that was
I
earlier.
don't know what this thing does. I just got this.
as you feel the fluid find its way down your esophagus.
That was before he got into
Warms it
Duke's.
like a fine whiskey would, but the warmth just grows and grows to the point where it's almost too hot, but it never quite reaches the point where it's painful. But you feel as if like this need to belch is burbling within your stomach, and at any given point in time, you could let that belch fly forward.
Here it comes.
Okay, so I'm just gonna kind of lean over the side and just scorch the whole front entrance.
This gnome appears soaking wet over the edge of the roof and then just releases this gout of fire that blankets the front of the building.
I was about to say that would look awesome, but we've
all the
seen
portions of
it.
The front part of the second and parts of the first story, including the top of the entryway that you had already smashed through as a triceratops, which exposed a lot of dried wood, and immediately burst into flames.
And it said this was episode
complete,
34?
that breath, and you kind of inhale for a second. You hear voices now starting to shout from the inside of the house. You can't really make out the noises, but it sounds like there's panic now starting to hit from the inside.
I have no idea what I'm doing.
It's amazing.
You're doing so
I mean,
Not what we
does
ever
anybody
did.
ever? Kind of.
So
I
I'll
think
run
it's
over
all
to the
just like...
backside of the house and do the same thing.
Okay. You just managed to like slide across the roof, grab the edge, reach over, and
I love how he's doing it.
both sides of the house now appear to be on fire. Looking over your shoulder, you can see now there's a pillar of black smoke rising up from the front of the
Are we gonna see, is the Scanbo thing when he unleashes cock
And
lightning?
you see a giant, meaty Goliath hand.
Oh shit!
Now stepping out into the rain, you see the Goliath
That-
Duke Vedmeyer step up with his two-handed sword.
Bigby's hand! So I call forth Bigby's hand and I will force him off the roof.
Yes!
So you create the hand next to him, and as he's kind of stepping
What did he
forward
call it? He didn't
towards
call
you
it
with his sword
Scanlan's
ready,
hand. I think you guys told me he had to call it something else.
Vaguely purplish arcane hand all of a sudden appears. He looks confused for a second and rears back to try and attack it. As the hand pulls back and goes rushing forward towards him. I want you to go ahead and make a strength check.
17 plus 8.
Natural 1.
I don't remember this being what happened in the show, though. I feel like Duke kicked his ass.
Side. The hand, he seems holding against it, but the hand eventually scoops him up and actually gets him off of his feet and like shock puts him off the roof. He plummets backward off the side of the roof, and you wait a second to hear.
Oh, definitely different than the show.
It's on
Down
network
there.
television. ladies and gentlemen. I gotta get out of here.
Yeah, definitely different than the show.
Burn the hatch and then get out.
Okay?
The Duke had his way with him in the show. But then
As you
Scanlan
reach
did win in
over,
the
you look
end,
down,
cock
and there
lightning.
is a ladder that leads up to the front, and there are 2 guards that are currently making their way up to the roof. They look up and see you. Their eyes go wide within their helmets, and as you release the flames, all you see is their faces go engulfing the entire tunnel.
So
I always look at Matt and then I'm missing their faces. They're all so interesting to watch.
I'm jumping on the rain. But I'm going to simultaneously make Big B's hand try to catch me.
Big B's hand.
All right, you trust fall off. Your eyes kind of somewhat closed and letting it happen.
Come on, Big B, catch me.
And in the moment that you expect ground to meet you with a heavy, hard smack of reality, a soft cushion of arcane energy catches you as these kind of.
See, he rode it up and watched the building burn with the Duke on the
and gently
roof.
bring you to the ground.
Don't get handsy, Big B.
And then fell. Very awesome, guys. I love to see the side-by-sides. A lot of the people throw up the actual episode scene, too, in full. So they must get copyright claimed or something. I don't know, because I tried to put up more than I could or should have last time, and I immediately got a copyright claim, and it was blocked. I couldn't even post it. So I'm curious how they were able to get that entire scene up in full without any problems. Either way, awesome stuff. We basically have the whole scene with the Duke turning into the Triceratops. Cock lightning didn't seem to be any part of it, though. As a matter of fact, I think they added cock lightning in to the episode as a way to premiere it, so to speak. Because put it this way, if they did cock lightning in the campaign, I'm sure they would have just showed it in the side-by-side comparison. I feel like they didn't, obviously, because it was done totally different. In the episode, we saw that Scanlan was getting the shit beat out of him. He even brought out Big B's hand, which they called it here, but that's Scanlan's hand in the show. Somebody told me, I just can't remember the exact details, but somebody told me something to the effect of they couldn't use Big B's hand because of copyright, something. It would like actually is something real or something, and they didn't want to get in trouble or they couldn't use it. Whatever the reason, it's Scanlan's hand in the show. But in the show, he gets the crap beat out of him. The middle finger gets chopped off by the sword. It basically comes down to him doing cock lightning when the Duke's standing right over him, and that's how he wins. Then the Duke is still on the roof. He jumps on the hand, and he flies away. And then the Duke looks like he blew up on the building, but spoiler alert, if you haven't seen past episode 7, he's alive. But now he's not. He dies in episode 9, so he's not alive. Either way, if you thought the Duke was alive, he's not. Spoiler alert. It's interesting that at the end of the campaign, he chose to dive off the roof and have Scanlan's hand catch him right before he falls, just because it sounds and looks cool. But in the episode, he actually uses the hand to get higher up and then drops into the friggin' bushes or the tree. So they actually spun this around, almost did like a complete reversal. Instead of Sam rolling a really bad roll, which would have made what happened in the episode happen, he rolls a good roll, and Matt Mercer rolls a natural 1. And then he just used Scanlan's hand and throws the Duke right off the roof. End of story. The whole battle's over. The main part that was epic, that matched the most to the actual episode we saw, was the Triceratops part. The Triceratops part was pretty much what happened in the episode. He turned into a Triceratops and then just stampeded to the top and then made it to the roof. But in this, it was slightly different. We also heard he turned into a fly. In this show, he turned into a tiny Scanlan, a little tiny Scanlan, and the Duke was trying to stomp him, so that was a little different. He also didn't sing the scripture. He sang like the scroll, and he was like, oh, that's the only thing I didn't do. I didn't sing the scroll. And then him singing it is what made him turn into a Triceratops. Before that, he was turning into random things. In the campaign, it looked like Sam chose to be a Triceratops. They showed an image of Sam dressed in what looked like a Burt Reynolds Turd Ferguson costume, and he was like, I want to be a Triceratops. And then Matt was like, you're a Triceratops. I don't know exactly how those two scenes connected, but I feel like Sam mentioned or wanted to be a Triceratops at some point, and then they let him do it. Instead of just running away, though, in the show, he had to fight his way out. In the campaign, it seemed like he could have just walked away, but they lined all the guards up on the balcony, just like when Grog busted in and he got shot. So they are combining lots of things, but putting them in the episode in different ways that make sense, probably for convenience, since there's 400 hours of stuff at least. They talked about how he tried to go around and find Flint or something, And that was before he even got into Dukes. He grabbed like a lighter, he sang a little song. I don't think it was the same song, but there was a song in one of the episodes that Scanlan was humming or singing, and it sounded like the song you sing when you're kids, where you're like, when you're sliding into home and you feel some juicy foam, diarrhea. It literally sounded like that. I don't know if I'm crazy. It was either in episode 8 or 9, or maybe it was in this one. I forgot to talk about it, and it just made me think of it when Sam started singing his little jingle. And this, he did a Singing in the Rain, like little reference. I swear he was singing the diarrhea kid song. I don't know what you'd even call it. I call it the diarrhea song. I haven't heard it in forever, but I remember that's like what you sang when we were kids. So you tell me if I'm right, because I swear that's what Scanlan was humming, and he even had words to it. But awesome stuff. Totally different. Way different. I'm curious what else we're going to come up with. There might be other people that post comparisons that have tons of events all thrown into one. That's what happened with the Sun Tree, and I got to watch it twice, and then I got to enjoy everyone else's faces, because I either got to watch Matt or 6 of the other people, and it's so hard to choose. And when I get to watch it twice, I get to see multiple reactions, and you get to see my reaction to reactions. So you guys want to see more of what I do, full unedited reactions, all the shows on the channel, seasons ahead of what you're seeing, and hundreds of exclusives you only see on Patreon. The link's in front of me. If not, thanks to Ars Queef for this video. Comments down below, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.